It's 2025 and it's the perfect time to strategize and plan how you're going to set up your business for success this year. Hi, I'm Shelby and I'm a pottery artist in Australia, and I have two businesses at the moment that are involved around the craft space. My first business I have been operating for a number of years now, but only took it full time about 5 years ago now. It was a very daunting decision to finally quit my job and take this passion of mine full time, but I do not regret it for a second. The reason I could quit my job was because I implemented these strategies that ensured that I was able to maintain my success, maintain the income that I was getting so that I can continue to pay my bills and exist on this world. I've been selling out my pottery restock since I started. I also attended 2 separate markets in 2023, which both sold out, and recently in 2024, I opened up my own pottery workshop space that's been booking out weeks in advance. Prior to opening up my studio, I also operated another kit-based business, which I've now implemented into my pottery studio, which hopefully I might be able to launch something similar like that this year. Most importantly, I just wanted to share this because often I found it really hard when I was starting out my business how to actually grow, how to continue and maintain a reliable income from my passion, but also how to sort of do the business stuff, because we're so busy being artists that we want to continue being creative and continue making artworks that we're passionate about. Sometimes it's really hard to actually put that business mind frame on and figure out how we're going to implement those strategies to continue to be able to do this as a full-time job. In this video, I'm going to share 5 strategies I implement at the start of every year to ensure that I have success throughout the year so I can continue doing my passion. So let's get into it. This is my first strategy, and that is doing a year before wrap up. Now, I know we do a lot of reflecting at New Year's about what the last year had, what we achieved, what we didn't achieve, how we want to go into the new year. But the way I see it is you can't improve on the year before unless you deep dive and reflect on what happened the year previously. At the end of each year, I write down a big list of all the things that worked and all the things that didn't work. Whether they be, I did a marketing strategy for this restock, I didn't do enough releases, I only did this type of social media content, maybe I did a certain amount of products, colors, or maybe I had staff that were doing certain tasks that I then need to pivot and change. I talk about all the things that worked, what were the most successful releases, what were the things that people appeal to, and then I break them down as to why they were successful. That might be looking into a viral video, for example, and seeing what the reactions were. Was it relatable? Were people engaged because it was nostalgic? Was it something that was already trending and already in that sphere that people were engaging with it, making it easier for it to gain traction and then sell the pieces that were in that viral video? So it's really, really important to break that year down. By breaking down these things that worked and didn't work, it allows us to set sights on a vision of what we actually really intended for the year that's been and start implementing those changes into 2025. So whether that be making more content, maybe you're going to do some weird colors that you didn't try in 2024, finally setting up that newsletter. Whatever it is, I want you to write down a list of what worked, what didn't work, what you wish you did, and what you wish you didn't do. For my year moving forward, I really want to make more art. Because I was setting up my other business, I didn't really get much chance to do that and also create the content around it. So I have set up a strategy around what content I liked, I didn't like from 2024, and how I want to move forward into the new year. By doing this, it's not just about negatively assessing yourself and seeing what you didn't get up to, but it's also about positively assessing yourself and going, wow, look at all these things I achieved. Look at what I can do in a year. Imagine what I could achieve in 2025. It's also looking at all those achievements and going, wow, they were the starting building blocks. I can build upon them and grow and grow and grow upon those building blocks I've already set up for myself in the previous year. I find it quite a humbling and an inspiring process, and I think you should always reward yourself and be proud of anything that you achieved, even if it is very small and minuscule. Maybe it's just that you survived and that you're here today, or maybe it's just that you're going to start creating more and seeing whether you can do it as a full-time job. Whatever it is, I want you to congratulate yourself for that effort and move into 2025 knowing that they're the foundation and building blocks for your new year. Okay, now that you're reflected on the year that you just had, it's now time to sort of think about the life that you want. And And that leads me to step 2 of strategies I use to set my business up for success. And that is writing down what your dream life looks like. It's not about what you want 2025 to look like, but what does your dream life in a holistic sense look like to you, and how you want your business to be involved in that process. This is kind of like your vision board, your mood board, but it's also more than just a year. What building blocks are we going to build upon this year that are going to make sure that we're still maintaining a life that we're happy with and are going to continue loving our lives beyond this year? Really dream big for this one. What you imagine your day-to-day to look like, what you imagine your month-to-month, your year-to-year, the things that you aspire and dream of happening. It's kind of a bit like manifestation, right? The reason I do it at the start of each year and don't just maintain the one from the previous years is because we change so much and evolve so much in a year. Sometimes we find new passions, sometimes we find new interests. Maybe we have a new partner that makes us desire different things. Maybe we have new network of friends that make us want to do different activities, and we've been exposed to new learnings and new opportunities that make us find new things that we're interested in. So that's why I do it at the start of every year. And sometimes they kind of maintain a similar thread, but they kind of evolve as I grow. And then as you achieve certain goals, they might also grow more as well. Write a list. So that might be, I want to finally upgrade my kiln. I want to have a pottery studio that's my own. Want to buy a house, to open up a shop front. Maybe it's really small and maybe it's less materialistic too. It doesn't have to be something that is about progressing and adding to that capitalist burn. I get it. Maybe it's just that I want to have time to bake cakes every weekend. I want to visit some more locations, spend more time with family, or have more time so that you can have at least one day off a week so that you've got more rest time. It can be whatever you like, but you need to write it down and you need to be specific. That is very important for our next step, okay? For example, if you're envisioning opening up your own studio, let's just say for your knitting or your pottery. I'm gonna use pottery because that's what I do. I think this was actually not on my year before, but 2 years ago, and I only got up to it last year, which is just shows that why it's important to put it on your list regardless and be really specific about it. It wasn't just, I wanna open up a pottery workshop space. It was, I want to open up a pottery workshop space where people can book in to paint pottery. I want to offer 3 workshops per week that will connect to the community of my hometown, and I want to spend X amount of money on this project. I want to spend X amount of time searching, finding, and developing this project, and this is the objective I want to achieve. It just became more than just opening up a pottery workshop space. It became very specific, very itemized, and very niche. I also want to state that I often get a little bit of a decision paralysis and a little bit scared to write down those things, but I want you to write them down. I want you to be a little bit more ambitious than you think, because you just never know. And if you're kind of going, oh, but I don't know how long I want to spend on it, or I don't know how much money I want to put towards that project, or I don't even know if that's what I want you to write it down anyway. You never know where the trajectory of your life will go and what opportunities will open up to you when you put them out into the universe. I don't think you should ever just limit yourself to one goal either. If you need to, write down 2, 3, 4, even 5, maybe 10, I don't know. Write down a few goals and ideas that you see your dream life to look like, because you may unintentionally start working towards others as you're working on the one before or the one after. You might achieve one really, really quickly and be like, well, actually, maybe I can start working towards this more ambitious goal. The reality of goals is that they're there, they're figurative, they're imaginative, they're ambition, they're manifestations, and they're putting them out into the universe. But our life still happens, and that's okay. So I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to feel overly concerned about how you're going to achieve all these things, because they're not going to happen straight away. They're just thoughts, feelings, and getting them onto a page so that they're physically there, so that you can read them, come back to them, look at them, refer to them throughout the year, and just check whether you're on track, whether you're pivoting, whether you're changing. Does that sound okay? Don't be too hard on yourself with that one. Now, before I get on to step 3, I'm actually going to introduce you to today's video sponsor, because it actually relates to this step and how I implement this strategy. the next part of this video, I would like to introduce you to today's sponsor, who also creates a system that I like to keep everything organized on. Notion is a note-taking and productivity app that allows you to put all your thoughts, plans, lists, projects, and ideas in the one place. You can create multiple pages for varying projects, project trackers, tables, and check-ins for every aspect of your business. At the start of each year and subsequently through each quarter, I use Notion software to keep track of my goals and keep on top of different projects. For example, I have created the quarterly goals, which have been broken down into smaller tasks to achieve for each month, whether that be working towards online releases of my pottery or specialty workshop sessions that we need to plan and organize for my pottery studio. Notion has the flexibility to organize it in your own way. This year I have extra staff working and helping keeping everything operating. Notion has made this a game changer for this because it allows everyone to access it all at once, add to it, and develop on the projects they have been assigned to. It also means that if anyone's sick or unwell, even away on a holiday, someone else can pick up where they left off on a project. You can also make it super aesthetic and create a Notion's Faces custom portrait to show up in your workspace. It's a fun little unique customization so everyone can see who's doing what on each project. Do you think my portrait looks like me? I think it does. Get started on Notion for free and create your custom portrait through the link in my caption below. So let's talk about how I break down my goal into actionable steps to then put into my Notion pages. Thank you for watching that. If you did, that means a lot to me because it means I can continue doing these videos sustainably and sharing more helpful tips, advice, pottery videos, all of that. So thank you so much. Now let's talk about strategy 3, and that's going to be breaking down the goal we just did, putting it into financial and actionable steps. Now this is the part where you're kind of putting, you're putting the action, you're putting the ball in motion, you're setting things in stone, and you're starting to get a bit of a plan how you're going to achieve your dream lifestyle. The reason why we've done a bit more of a reflective state at the start is because we need to know where we've been to know where we're going, okay? So now we're gonna do actionable steps to achieve where we're going. Sometimes things aren't necessarily financial steps, sometimes they're more just like, what actions do you need to take to achieve the dream lifestyle you want? Maybe you're already achieving the financial goals that you need to achieve your lifestyle, and you just need to implement an actual actionable thing to do it. I'm going to use an example and talk about what the financial steps may be and what they may look like, because this will help figure out and start to really fine-tune those goals, right? For example, your vision for your lifestyle might be that you want to work 4 days a week and you want to drop a day of work. What I want you to do is go, okay, that's the vision, that's what I want. I want to have one more day off a week. What does that look like in terms of financial stability and sustainability? And what I mean by that is, if you take that one day off a week, how are you going to make sure that you're still making the same income or are happy with the compromise of income? Is it going to be sustainable for you long term so that you're not sort of going back because you have to and you kind of dread that you kind of made a step backwards? How much money do you typically make in a day? Whether that be from a 9-to-5 work shift, maybe it's from your business. Let's just say it's $200 and you want to maintain that same amount coming into your bank account to ensure that you're still living the lifestyle that you live, that you're still being able to pay your mortgage repayments or whatever responsibilities you have, and have that extra lifestyle bonus of having a day off. Where are you going to make that $200 somewhere else? That in a financial step is $200. So that's the first thing. The next thing is you're also going to figure out what are the actionable steps to make that goal happen. So it's all well and good to sort of write down, okay, this is what I want. Oh, it costs this much. But what are you going to do to make that happen? Are you going to call up your boss and ask for one extra day off? Are you going to change what you do in a day in your small business to ensure that you have an extra day off per week? Are you going to hire a staff member for your business to make sure that they're doing some of the jobs that need to be done so that you can have an extra day? In Notion, what I tend to do is write a list of all the goals and then the financial steps that need to happen to ensure that I can reach each goal. Let's just say you're a pottery artist and you really want to finally buy your own kiln. I want you to figure out what the figurative amount that you need to then be able to buy that kiln straight up. And let's just say it's I'd say it's $12,000 because that breaks down easily into a year. You're going to go, this is the figure I need, and then you're going to break it down into easier chunks to achieve. For me, when I write down a massive goal like $12,000 for a new kiln, it can be so daunting and feel very overwhelming with everything you need to do. You might be thinking, how am I going to achieve that this month? How am I going to do that? I'm going to have to work really, really hard. But breaking it down into smaller steps is so simple, and it's probably something that you already know, but it really does help you work towards it. By breaking down $12,000, you can then go, the financial steps I want to take is that I want to try and put away $1,000 every month towards this bigger picture. It might be a shorter time frame, it might be 6 months, when that's when you sort of change that financial goal. Financial steps starts to put this plan into motion. It's not just this vision or this idea, it's actually an actionable step that you're going to start to work towards to then achieve the dreams and goals that you want. At the start of every year, I actually write down each month in my diary, and I write down all the goals in different steps in each month. So for example, if I was working towards a kiln, I would start putting the kiln under a few months and saying when I'm going to work towards that financial goal. From there, if I'm putting away, say, $1,000 for a kiln, and maybe I'm trying to have an extra day off, and that's, let's say, $600 per month, I'm writing $1,000 next to the kiln and $600 next to the day off, and then I'm doing a tally total for each month. It then becomes $1,600 per month for those two separate goals, and that gives me the tally amount of how much extra money I want to earn on top of staying sustainable in my business to achieve my goals. But you're essentially just setting like a goal target amount to achieve your lifestyle and your dream ideas of where you want your business to go in the year. So $1,600 can then be broken down into weeks, or maybe you might plan to do a certain release in that month. This is where it starts to like put the plan in motion and starts to lead us to step 4. So far, we have reflected on the year before, we have set our goals and lifestyle goals, and we have also popped our lifestyle goals as a financial figure that we want to attain in an actionable sort of step. That leads us to the 4th strategy that I implement for a successful year in 2025. This is the how. How are you going to do it? That seems unfathomable. Maybe it seems really easy and approachable. Where is that going to come from? I'm struggling to sell the pieces and I'm going to sell as it is. If you had all the money to achieve the things that you want to achieve, what things would you be doing in your business to maintain your success? That's how we're going to address the how. Just treat it like you've already got the money, you're already ticking along nicely, and you're already in that lifestyle that you said that you want to live. And what are the things that you've been doing to maintain it? The reason we are setting up the how as if we're already doing it is because often we get so caught up in this motion and cycle of constantly doing the same things over and over again. We get kind of a bit routine and creature comforted that we never allocate time to set up new structures. We don't set up the time to experiment, to explore, to grow, to learn new skills, to advance ourselves further. It's allowing ourselves to break apart from that financial limitation and pretending like we've already achieved that goal makes it less daunting to then start a strategy to reach that financial goal. It's all about time in a way. Can I allocate a day, and will that investment, that day investment, so your time investment, pay off in a financial way? A little bit tricky to explain in a generic way for you all, because I think that every single person is on their own path. Your goals are all going to be so different, but for me, I learn best from hearing from examples and what other people have done, because then it helps me sort of implement my own strategies and adapt and create them to suit me. All right, so we're gonna work with that $1,600 figure I mentioned before to save up for a kiln and have an extra day off per week. We've got each month broken down into the financial goals we have. So if you are a product-based business and you need to earn an extra $1,600 to achieve your goal, you'll start thinking about what products sold really well in the year before, content that you could post and use again. You want to implement a new marketing strategy, set up a newsletter. I want you to write down anything that you're thinking that you could possibly do if you had the time. Now, I say this because often that time we spend researching, often that time we spend building up something new or experimenting, we don't make time for because we're so busy trying to chase and maintain that sustainable goal. Making the same products over and over again that may be just trickling in. But the experimentation concentration, takes away from time that I could be making this product that's already selling. Although this product is selling, it's not really making me the money that I want to achieve X goal, right? I want you to figure out what this product means to your business. How much money it could potentially make is the first one, so that it can connect back to that financial goal. I want you to break down, what do you need to do to make that product come to life? And then what are the time constraints that relate to that product being developed? That might be that you need to test a new material, design, color, sample, send it off to a manufacturer. Maybe you need to just experiment in your studio, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. The time is really important, because we can then break that down into our monthly goal as an actionable step with our financial goal. This will make it less daunting, less overwhelming. It feels less of a body of work that you're too scared to even dip your toe in, and it breaks it down into smaller steps that you can work into alongside what you're already doing and what success you're already having. This could also be something less like a product launch and maybe just another avenue of marketing. Maybe it's setting up a newsletter list, and that, again, to break that down, it could be, I need to figure out how the software works, and I need to figure out how I'm going to write the newsletter. What is going to be in the newsletter? Who is the newsletter for? How much do you predict it will make you in sales? What is the overall objective of taking that task on? And then what marketing are you going to do to promote the newsletter as well? But that's just making sure that you have a follow through action, not just listing a vague financial figure. You're not just saying, I want to do a newsletter. It's saying how this newsletter will actually come to life. You need to really make sure that you do this so that you actually don't feel as overwhelmed by the prospect of doing it, and you actually have steps, like a kind of instruction manual. You're almost giving yourself your own little instruction manual for life. You're going to allocate a day, maybe 2 days of research, planning, and adding a marketing strategy to this. Sometimes we think that we can just kind of throw things out into the interwebs and people just will come and show up, but we have to be active in how we're trying to attain new customers, connecting with our audience, showing people that we're passionate about our product and that we want other people to experience the joy that we get from our product. Okay, I think that kind of explains the how. From the financial goal and the how goal, I then pop them into my January, February, March, and we'll break it down into even like a checklist so that I can check them off as I go. But I think it just then allows you to go, oh, this is all I have to work on in January. It's not this massive, overwhelming task. The last step is probably the hardest step, and it's something that I think we all struggle with at times, but it is the most important. It is the most important step. Step number 5 is you just got to do it. You've got to stop procrastinating, and you've just got to go out and do it. It's all well and good to write things down on a list and to think about what you want and to dream of things and to imagine things, but you've actually got to do the work. I always struggle with this one because I have so many goals, so many things I want to attain, and sometimes you don't always feel like doing the work. I'm a procrastinator at heart, and sometimes I will look at the list and be like, oh my gosh, that is just so a lot right now. I can't even imagine getting out there and doing something like that. It feels new and foreign what you're trying to achieve, maybe setting up something new, maybe posting more content, putting yourself out there. It can feel foreign and new, and it can make you feel very vulnerable, and it can often halter our success because we hold back and we stop before it gets good. But I want you to do the work, and I want you to have the full desire and faith that the work is going to pay off. I want you to believe in yourself. Fully believe that you're already in your goal, you're already doing it, and it's already happening for you. Because without that full motivation, desire, and faith in yourself, you won't achieve your goal. It is so simple. You will not achieve it if you do not have full faith in it. Miracles do happen. They do happen, and sometimes money falls from the sky. Not for me though. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to do the work to ensure that you can achieve your goal. The reason why these strategies have worked for me is that when you start the year, you're kind of just at a bit of a slower pace. You've just had Christmas, you've had New Year's, you've had a bit of an unwind and relax. Some of you may have stepped away for a little bit, had a couple weeks off. Maybe you worked through Christmas, and that's fine, but you kind of have that reflective state of mind where you're able to really assess it from an outsider. You're not sort of enmeshed in it. You can kind of step back, look from an outsider. Life always happens. things get in the way. Sometimes we don't achieve as much. Sometimes we're unwell. Sometimes something happens in the family. Sometimes we take a holiday and we're not usually working towards our goal every waking second. And I don't want you to do that. You can do that if you want, but it can lead to burnout and you can feel very overwhelmed. But by writing these steps and strategies down, it then creates something that you can refer to and work towards throughout the year. You can look at it once a week, once a month. Maybe you look at it every morning just to remind yourself why you're getting up today. Whatever it may be, writing it down is so important because it's the first step to sort of manifesting and really instilling in your brain that you are going to achieve it. That you have the faith, you have the desire, and you have the ambition and motivation to achieve the things that you dream and aspire for in your life. I think that probably wraps up this video. I really want you to believe in yourself because this world is so grand and it deserves your sparkling, shining candle to light and ignite this year. And I really look forward to seeing it. I hope this video was somewhat inspiring, helpful. Maybe it was just reinforcing what you already knew in your brain. Maybe you took a little piece out of this. Maybe you didn't take anything out of it, and that's fine. But these strategies have really helped me in my success and helped to motivate me and keep me on track for the things I want out of my life. And I hope that it can do the same for you. And I hope that you have a prosperous and successful 2025. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It just gives me a little indication that you'd like more videos like this, more business tips and tricks. I will be doing, of course, my clay videos and vlogs throughout the year, but I just thought that it was a nice time to share this information with you and these strategies that I implement because it's so fresh in the new year. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.